Welcome to more practice on the distance formula, this time when we're given two ordered pairs and then finding the distance. That's right, it's the moment you've all been waiting for, I know. In today's video, we are going to be given two ordered pairs and then finding it. If you remember last time on the other video, this is not the piece of paper I used. This one right here, if you had a drawing, you could use these kinds of Pythagorean theorems in order to find the distance. Now it's just if you have, instead of a picture, ordered pairs. So here we go. This is how to use the distance formula. First of all, I like to show my work at least the first few couple of times, in which case I'm going to go ahead and label these x1, y1, and x2, y2. Because it's the first ordered pair and the second ordered pair. From there, we are going to be using the distance formula up there. So from here, I'm going to be subtracting the x values. So I'm going to look at the x values. And it'll say x2 minus x1. So x2 is -6 minus x1, which is -8, squared. And then plus, and then it's the y's being subtracted. y2 minus y1. Or in this case, 7 minus 10 squared. And the whole thing is being square rooted. I always do the square root last just because I never know how long to draw it until I've actually drawn it. So there you go. From here, you can do two things. You can either simplify it like by parts, like actually subtract these and then square them and then take the square root after adding them. But you do have access to calculators that'll just do the whole thing in one step. If you're using Desmos from the graphing calculator online, you can just put the whole thing in. If you're using a calculator like this one, a TI, you can do the whole thing in one go. Like this, square root, then parentheses -6 minus -8, parentheses squared. So that's like the whole thing in one go. Plus, parentheses 7 minus 10, parentheses squared. And I'm just going to double check that I put in everything right. 7, 10, -6, -8, squared from the square root symbol. I press enter and it says about 3.6. So that would be my answer. As I said, sometimes you'll probably just want to do it by hand, in which case the old-fashioned way is if you have minus a negative, that turns it into a plus. So then -6 plus 8 is 2. So you'd have 2 squared. And then 7 minus 10 is -3 squared. And here, please do remember that whenever you square something, it always turns positive. +2 squared is a +4, and a -3 squared is a +9. Because squaring something means to multiply it by itself. So -3 times -3 is a +9. And that's going to be equal to the square root of 13, which, not so coincidentally, is the number we got before. So there you go. The answer is approximately 3.6. Let's try another one. So here, once again, this is my x1, y1, my x2, y2. And in the formula, I'm going to take the x's and subtract them. So -5 minus 0 squared plus y is being subtracted. y2 minus y1. And always be careful of those minus and negative things. It's very easy to say, well, this one's negative, so it'll stay a minus. But you have to make sure that there's already a minus there. And then if it's negative, you put the negative again. just like that. So you can do the whole thing in one go, or you can do it by parts. This one's not terrible to do either way, so I'll just do it the whole way. -5 minus 0 is just -5. This turns into a plus, so -1 plus 2 is 1. And then you get 25 plus 1, because 1 squared is just 1. And you get the square root of 26, which is approximately 5.1. There you go. That's the answer. If you did it the other way, like I said, it'll just be the exact same thing. -5 minus 0 squared plus -1 plus 2 squared. And there you go. Exact same number, right? Yep, exact same number. Cool. I put 2 down here for you guys to try. So I would go ahead and try them. Or if you don't feel comfortable, then you can watch me do 3 and then try 4 yourself. Go ahead and pause, do that. So in the formula, I'll draw the big square root first this time. I'll go ahead and subtract the x's, 5 minus 2. And then I'll subtract the y's, 1 minus 5. Like so. So 5 minus 2, 1 minus 5. This will be 3 squared plus -4 squared, which is 9 plus 16, a positive 16, which is the square root of 25, which is exactly 5. So the distance is 5. Ta-da! If you did the whole thing in your calculator, then obviously you didn't care. You'd still get 5. Next up. Oh, next up, I'll mention something. Another thing, I just think it's cool. Do you remember that when you square root numbers that you cannot square root negative numbers? Like, you could try, but your calculator's like, no, I don't think so. Like, if you do the square root of a -4, it always just says error, you can't do it. And it actually checks out here. If you get a negative number in here, you can't square root a negative because there would be no distance. It doesn't make sense. Distances are always positive. So you're always going to get a positive number because distances have to be positive. Now to number 4. Like I said, pause it and try it. So 4 minus -8. And then -5 minus 1. This turns to a plus and you get 12. This turns into a plus and negative, so -5 plus -1 is -6. That'll be 144. And a negative squared is still a positive. And 144 plus 36 is 180. So that should be the answer. Out of paranoia, I'll try it, because why not? Doot. And we have 4 minus -8 squared plus -5 minus 1 squared. And let's see if the square root of 80 is that same thing. Square root of 180 is that same thing. Woo! Celebrate good times, come up. Okay, I know. I'm sorry. I'd promise not to sing again, but I can't guarantee that. So there you go. That is it. Hopefully that'll make sense. You're going to get practice. So there you go. Hope you had as much fun as me. Bye.